Hey everyone, you're with Tesla Tom, and thanks so much for joining me on my YouTube channel today where I discuss Tesla, electric vehicles and renewable energy. If this is your first time to my channel, hello and welcome. Please take a moment to hit that red subscribe button. That way you stay informed of any new content, and it also helps my channel to grow as well. Today we're going to look at software update 2020.36.11 for our Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth here in Sydney, Australia. We're going to do that and much more right after this. Okay, so 2020.36.11 dropped this morning for our Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth. We're getting these updates pretty regularly now. This one came only a week after 2020.36.10. There's not too much to talk about for this update. It's pretty much just minor improvements and bug fixes. If you want to go through the release notes for 2020.36.10, I'll leave a link to my video up here and also in the description below as well for you to check out. Now, if you've been following me recently on my channel, you know that I generally don't use Mad Max mode or anything more than average speed-based lane changes for Navigate on Autopilot. I used to find that a bit too much for me, as I used to make quite erratic decisions. But given that the word on the street is that it's improved a lot, what we're going to do today is actually do an airport run in Sydney on Mad Max mode, Navigate on Autopilot, and no lane change confirmation. Let's go through the Autopilot settings right now. We've got auto steer on, Navigate on Autopilot on, of course, and we're going to put Mad Max mode for speed-based lane changes. Exit passing lane for sure. If you want to find an example of this in action, check out my previous video, like I said. And also we're going to put no for require lane change confirmation. This does not make your vehicle autonomous. You must continue to keep your hands on the wheel and monitor the vehicle's surroundings. Lane changes may happen quickly at any time and you must remain in control. Are you sure you want to disable lane change confirmation? Indeed, I do. We're going to put lane change notification, chime and vibrate. We'll do that just to keep us informed of what the car is doing. Alright guys, well let us go for a drive on Navigate on Autopilot with no confirmation for lane change and also Mad Max mode for speed-based lane changes on update 2020.36.11 in our Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth here in Sydney. Let's do that right now. Navigate to Sydney Airport. Okay, so if you see that blue bar come up which says Navigate on Autopilot, it means that NOA is available for some, if not all, of your trip. Now, I don't actually have a genuine reason to go to the airport today. I'm not picking anyone up. I'm not going anywhere myself. I just wanted to do this test for the video. And, you know, now's any good as any time to go to the airport to do this run. I think it'll be a good run to do, actually. Probably one of the longest drives I could take, I guess, within the city. And still be within the city. But what I'll do now is engage Autopilot. Double tap on the stalk. Now this is just an entry lane into the Gore Freeway, and what I'm going to do is actually put the rear cameras on for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm seeing in my rear view mirror and also my side mirrors for your convenience. Let's pump it up to 80 kilometers an hour. Let's see what happens here when we have to merge into the rest of the traffic. This will be very interesting. Well, I suspect we're on basic autopilot, so I'll probably have to do this myself, I would think. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Just on basic for now, so I kind of had to do that myself. Let's see whether it turns to Navigate on Autopilot anytime soon. Not yet. The car wanted to stop for the traffic light for some reason. I wonder whether it saw the lights above. See, there are these ramp metering kind of traffic lights here. That one's blacked out, so I think the car safely ignored that one. All right, another sort of lane change or lane merge, I guess. That wasn't too bad. Okay, so now we are on Navigate on Autopilot because we're on the Gore Freeway proper. See that single blue line as opposed to the tram lines, which means that the car is now in Mad Max mode. and there's no lane change confirmation. So this is going to be very interesting. As I said before, previously I have been quite reluctant to use Mad Max mode, especially kind of in Sydney. Roads are a bit funny, especially kind of in inner Sydney itself. Kind of made very strange decisions early on in the piece when we first got NOA. So I've been sort of switching it off and just using, I guess, I've been the one controlling the lane change in the settings. But for today, the car is actually going to make decisions for me. So I'm very much looking forward to this to see how much it has improved over time. It's been a good 9 months now since we've got NOA in our cars. A lot can happen in 9 months in the world of autonomous vehicles. So still on the Gore Hill, we're sort of heading into the Warringah Expressway now. Okay, so that time the car sort of wanted to lane change and I allowed it. I didn't confirm as such, just asked me to keep my hands on the wheel, which I did. Now, if I know Sydney well, I think I know it relatively well, especially in these parts. It has to use the Harbour tunnel to get to the airport. Now this car wants to merge. And no, that wasn't too bad. The car actually let it, and then it slowed down a little bit for the car to come in. So yeah, that's pretty good. Good job. Okay, so yep, it's in this lane, which is the correct lane. I would have picked this as well as a local to go to the airport. I would have gone in this lane because this eventually becomes the left lane or the slower lane for the Harbour tunnel, which is perfect. It's going at 80 kilometers an hour. I'm not following the car ahead too quickly. Let's see what I've got it on follow. I've got it on 1, perfect. One is fine for peak hour kind of traffic. It's kind of 9:30 now in Sydney on a Friday morning during coronavirus, so not too busy, I would think. Let's see what this grey Land Rover wants to do. Okay, I thought he might have wanted to merge in, but he's just zipping ahead there, so no dramas. So back on the lane change confirmation, I didn't have to do anything as such, like indicate or turn the wheel. Or okay, so it wants to change over. No, not anymore. Okay. I mean, this is an unbroken line, so it really shouldn't be doing this, but that's what it wants to do, so I'll let it go to the right lane. That was actually pretty good, pretty smooth. But it was nice to see that when this van was coming up, it stopped indicating and then let the van go first. That's brilliant. I don't think it was doing that 9 months ago, so already that's an improvement. Okay, so before I keep going, I should let you know too that at this stage in tunnels, NOA is turned off. So when I'm in the Harbour tunnel, NOA won't be on. We're back on that double tram line. And I apologise if the contrast and the brightness goes away. I've had issues before with this camera in tunnels, but from what I can see, it looks okay for now. So we'll see what happens. So for those who don't know, obviously NOA versus Autopilot. NOA, the car makes decisions for you if you let it. Basic Autopilot, which is this one, just the tram lines, it really is just glorified cruise control with auto steer. So it keeps within the lane. If you want to change lanes, you've got to actually do the work. To some degree, if you've got full self-driving unlocked, all you need to do is indicate and the car will change lanes for you if it's safe to do so. That's kind of the difference. So we're just coming up to the bottom of the Harbour tunnel, which indicates kind of the halfway point, and then it'll start to climb up the hill towards the southern shore of the Sydney metro region, or the Sydney CBD, I suppose you can call it. Downtown, sure, whatever you want. Okay, following this truck, possibly a little bit too close. It's on number 1. Fairly comfortable at this stage. Maybe I'll go back to 2 just because I don't like smelling the diesel fumes. from this truck. Sorry guys. Bit more sensitive to combustion engine smoke and fumes currently. Okay, so it's doing all right. Now we're on the southern side now of Sydney. What I found in the past with NOA is that it's kind of switched between autopilot and navigate on autopilot. So you might see that flick between a single line versus a double line, but all good. We'll just play along. Doing pretty well so far in basic. We're just in the domain tunnel now. Then we should be entering the Eastern Distributor. So this car just cut ahead of me like that. And the car did brake a little bit. I probably would have given it more room as a human driver. That's okay. So, car is staying in the right lane, wants to go left, perfect. I was just thinking about that actually, wanting to move to the middle lane, which is where I'm the most comfortable driving on highways. And now you'll see that NOA will be unavailable again in about 100 meters. No worries, we kind of predicted that, didn't we? As we go into tunnels, the car will go back to basic, back to that double line there. Okay, so this is the Eastern Distributor. Goes under the eastern or southeastern side of the city, which is a good road, especially now in COVID, no traffic. So this sort of underpasses, I suppose, Anzac Parade and Southern Cross Drive, all those kind of roads. Should spit us out around Alexandria pretty quickly. I'm going to switch over to the right lane myself. See that? I just used basic autopilot and full self-driving lane change to do that myself. Now this right lane does merge, so let's see what happens here. Yeah, it's pretty good, I must say. Slowed down appropriately to 62 without my intervention to let these two cars in, so fantastic. Doing really well. And we've got this traffic aware cruise control, so it'll just follow the cars nicely in this right lane, overtaking the slower cars on the left. I'm going to merge back in the left if I get an opportunity. Although, I mean, this lane's doing all right. Now we're sort of going into the open air bit of this road now. Let's see what happens, whether it goes back to navigate on autopilot. Sure does. Beautiful. And no intervention so far, so pretty happy. And sticking to the right lane for now. Very good. I suppose it could have cut back to the left, but I guess that Merc is going a little bit slower than the speed limit, so it's staying in this right lane. Very good again. I'm pretty happy so far, honestly. Now we're just coming up to a more conventional kind of highway now. We're sort of exiting the, oh no, sorry, my apologies, not quite yet. There's one more undercover bit, so it might switch back to basic autopilot. Okay, so it's continuing to persist in this right lane, which is the faster lane. Interesting to see what happens here, because that Merc is now going a bit quicker than me. Okay, no, well, we're back on basic because we're going in the underpass again. No dramas. See that color anomaly there on the screen? Interesting. It does that sometimes when the lighting's not so good. Alright, so now we're coming up to the last bit of the tunnel part of the Eastern Distributor. We should be coming up to the more conventional part of this route. We sure are. We're now on the Southern Cross Drive, the 3-lane multi-lane road, pretty much all the way to the airport. Persisting in this right lane, all good. Let's see now whether it goes back to the left. Okay, no, still in the right lane. That's fine. It's appropriate because we're overtaking that car. Gotta say the traffic's actually pretty good. Normally at this time, like pre-COVID, it'd be pretty packed at 9:30. But I guess now there are less cars on the road, people working from home. It's good for this test. So there are two ways to the airport. I could use, oh, no, one's to get in to the left. See, normally as a Sydney-sider, just the way we drive, I just said thank you to the car behind me. Normally I wouldn't indicate until I'm ready to go. Like if that's just the way Sydney is. Like you wouldn't indicate until you've got enough room to get in, and then you indicate, and then you squeeze in. It's kind of like an indication here, from my point of view anyway. It's not like an asking for permission. It's kind of like I'm coming. I'm here. I am. I'm going in the lane now. At least that's how most urban Sydney-siders drive. This car with that indication, it was like asking for permission from the car there. Like I'm indicating I want to come in. So I don't know whether enough neural net data will be collected over time to drive like a Sydney-sider, or will autonomous vehicles over time just force everyone to drive, or force the car fleet to just drive like that, like I suppose everywhere else in the world where you just ask for permission first and then come in. But I guess with fully autonomous fleet, will there be a need for indication? Will cars just sort of merge in and out of each other because everyone knows what they're doing? All these very interesting questions I'm posing with no real answers for now, but I'm just thinking out loud here. But I think, all in all, that was actually a good lane change. I suppose you can argue that, well, if you put your indicator on long enough, the car behind you will either slow down for you, or it'll just zip ahead and won't let you in and just go ahead. So, either way, it's not a bad thing. Now, I just said Sydney Airport in the navigation. I didn't actually specify which airport. We've got three terminals, but two main routes, one for the international terminal, one for the domestic side. So I'll just see what the car wants to do, whether it goes more on the surface roads or takes the M5 freeway for now, because this is kind of the decision time for the car. What does it want to do? Decisions. I personally wanted to take the freeway because it's like there's an interesting merge for the freeway. We'll see how well it handles that, but it looks like at this stage it wants to go on the freeway, which is fine, which is good. Okay. It wants to kind of go on there, or maybe it's saying both lanes are okay. Does it drop down to 70? Because that's kind of the speed limit at the moment. Well, I'll just press 70 because that's the speed limit. I don't want to break the speed limit, break any rules here. Okay, so this ends up being, I think, General Holmes Drive. Again, it's doing this funny, I want to merge left kind of business. I'm going to say thank you manually because that's kind of what we do in Sydney. When someone allows us in, we kind of say thank you. Like that. Well, I do anyway. Now, this is that funny merge I was talking about. Oh, there's no car behind me, so... Actually, yeah, there's a van there. Oh, now look, that's an intervention. I had to brake because, yeah, it was veering. The car was kind of like undecided. Admittedly, the road markings, as you might have seen there, it's time of use where it's using like lights to decide when it becomes 3 lanes or 2 lanes. So I think it was just too dangerous. There were cars on either side of me, behind me, and the car wasn't quite sure what to do. I'm going to drop it down to 60, or press the speedometer there to get it to 60, because now it's time of use where it's 60 kilometers an hour, not 70. So yeah, that was kind of a fringe case there. All right, so we are going on navigate on, going back to basic again, because the tunnel is not supported. Kind of phantom braking a little bit here. Not sure why. There's a perfectly good lane ahead of you. All right, we're going to go in the left lane because we want to go on the international airport, I suppose. And then we'll, once we get on the freeway, I guess we'll end it there, or at least get to the airport, which is not far off the freeway. This is kind of, well, I suppose it's a tunnel, but it's more like an underpass. This is literally a runway ahead of us, above us, sorry, for the airport. And this does get on the M5 motorway, where I guess we'll get to see a little bit more of NOA before it becomes M5 proper. That's where we'll get off as soon as we reach the airport exit. It's actually 70, so I might pump it up to 70 there. Okay, so back on NOA, let's see what it does, because the lane markings aren't great, as with many roads here in Sydney. Okay, cool. Alright, so we'll take that last exit before the toll. There might be one more little tunnel, I think, before that. Okay, wants to switch to the right. That's fine, buddy. Go ahead. All good. I'm not holding you back today. Alright, brilliant. Now, I think there's a tunnel. I was going to say if, see, in true Sydney fashion there. I'm sorry, buddy. That's just the car doing its thing. I'm going to pump it up to 80 because I'm pretty sure this road is 80 instead of annoying the car behind me. You see that? Like my car just sort of zipped in and out of the lane to overtake that car. Something I probably wouldn't have done. I would have just been more patient if I was taking the wheel myself. That's Mad Max mode for you. Oh dear, good times. Good times. Look, here's a tunnel and it's on NOA. That's unusual. Haven't seen that very often. Okay, so if the NOA wants to exit the lane now, I'm not going to let it because there's an exit coming up right now, and this will be interesting to see whether the car exits the lane properly. Oh, exits the freeway properly. I don't know why it's slowing down. Are you going to take this exit? Yes! Yes, it does! Brilliant. Bloody brilliant. Okay, so back on basic now. Alright guys, well that's pretty much it. I mean, I guess I'll drive a little bit further to the airport as I'm saying goodbye. Ooh, that's a harsh brake there. Oh, brake again. Alright, we'll stop there. Yeah, the airport's just around the corner, but yeah, I would say it performed that pretty well. But the only anomaly was probably two things. That funny lane merge, I knew would have issues with that. It's hard enough being a human pilot on that road, merging, with the time of use lane indicators. And the other one was the car at the very end there when I was overtaking that car. This car was just being a bit impatient, just trying to get around that car, whereas I would have probably just let it go because the exit was only literally 400 to 500 meters away. And brilliant, the car, I think for the most part handled it pretty well, and it exited the freeway pretty well too. So I would say that's a pass, and it's definitely improved from the last time I tried Mad Max mode, NOA. So yeah, brilliant. All right, guys, that is software update 2020.36.11 on our Tesla Model 3 Performance Stealth here in Sydney, Australia, using Navigate on Autopilot on Mad Max mode with no lane change confirmation. Pretty much testing the car to its limits today on the latest firmware update in Sydney, which I dare say has some of the hardest roads in the developed world with our crappy lane markings. So yeah, I mean, if it can handle Sydney, under these conditions, I would think it's doing pretty well. And looking forward to the next update, which hopefully, or the next major update, which will have turnings on city roads. So looking forward to that. If not the next one, maybe the next few. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for watching. Have you tried this update recently? And have you tried Navigate on Autopilot recently with Mad Max mode? Has it improved since you last tried it? I'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment if you have. and tell us what your experience has been. And of course, leave any comments if you found any other hidden features for this update. Love to hear from you as well. And of course, if you've liked this video, please give it a like. Give it a thumbs up, really appreciate that. And of course, subscribe if you haven't done so already yet. Really appreciate that as well. Until next time, guys, stay safe. And as always, happy charging.